Sweet. Alright, I did not advertise this one mainly because there really wasn't, I don't know, an agenda or whatever on this time around. It's really just, I want to go over the previous and the upcoming, kind of recap over everything that's happened up until this point. That way, kind of get a beat on what's about to happen and then what's going through my mind. So this all started last year before that, when I started seeing different forms of content. And you've got Kamikaze, you've got Shocktor, Cyrious, now you have Zealous. They all have different niches, different areas that they stay around. Deeg. And I know that I wanted to put forth my content out there once again like I used to many years ago, but I wanted to approach it from like a data perspective as much as possible, utilizing all sorts of statistics and all sorts of big data wherever I could. And that's what really started the road to StratSide 1, which was when EG7, Edenad Global 7, announced its acquisition of Daybreak Games and thus of PlanetSide 2, our game. So at the time, I was working with Archie on a couple of things and Cyrious, and Archie was really wanting to do some different type of content to grow his community and his stream. And I was already kind of putting together a presentation that I would present in some medium like stream or otherwise that would talk about this acquisition, because when I started delving into the details, like, there was a lot of stuff to pull out of it, and I thought it was really cool. So that's kind of how StratSide 1 married up with Archie on talking about EG7's acquisition of Daybreak, what that meant for Rogue Planet Games and PlanetSide. And that went really well. I really enjoyed that one. And there's been so much that changed since then, which is why you'll see in the upcoming, there'll be an update to the EG7 acquisition. But that's what started it all. StratSide 1, there was a lot of data, a lot of details, a lot of fine points that I went over, highlighting all sorts of fiscal things that were very interesting, a lot of revealing metrics about the subscriber count and the annual revenue that PlanetSide 2 pulled in. That was really cool. I enjoyed that one big time. And I've been keeping track of everything since then, like listening to the quarterly reports put out by GHAM for EG7, so that one day I can approach that again and update, because it's pretty much what was announced and intended for PlanetSide 2 now is no longer. There's a different direction going on. So that was StratSide 1. That really helped shape me about what I wanted to do with this podcast. And I basically settled on wanting to approach big ideas, big concepts with as much data as I can. There's so much like development work here in this game. Maelstrom's PS2 alerts, Varunda, PS2 Fisu, Hanu, outfit tracker. There's a ton of statistical data, all sorts of quantitative things that help paint a picture, help tell a story, Steam charts, and it's just all out there. But it's just what story wants to be told, who wants to tell a story, and that's where I decided I wanted to do it. So then I hit StratSide 2. After that, StratSide 2 was about the next Outfit Wars. Outfit Wars 2021 had just concluded, and there were some certain things about that I saw that I really wanted to talk about, because the conversation at the time was, who is Outfit Wars for? It was the 1v1v1. There was all sorts of shenanigans that went on, call it. I don't really look at it quite so harshly. It was the format that it was. So collusion and double teaming like that. Come on, it's live. It happens all the time. And then you import that into tournament play and you think that that's going to just go away? No, I don't think that was a reasonable viewpoint, even though the expectation for a tournament is there about good sportsman like conduct. So that was interesting to watch, and a lot of people had a lot of things to say about it. And I was really, at the same time, Deeg was doing a lot of long form content, and one of his things was about the Partial type. And I think he had done an interview with like a Guild Wars 2 developer or something, and one of his guests had mentioned it, and that got me onto the Bartle type for what that meant for outfit wars. And I ended up doing, let's see if I pull it up. That one took me a really long time to make. But by that point I pretty much solidified how I wanted to do it. So it was all about what I could present in like a nice neat format that was easy for people to digest. It was clear about what it was trying to communicate, and that's why I started developing things like, why does this matter to people? What is this talk about? What isn't it about? And different working definitions that I wanted people to know up front when I use these words. And then the heat map. Again, I created this. I started searching around, Googling different games that I thought might help tell the story. And tell the story is the wrong word. What facts I could glean from searching around. And then I would just, create this in Excel or whatever and pivot charts, and then import it over to what you see. So that lent itself to the heat map and where I thought things were in terms of live Jaeger Outfit Wars campaign, and then I overlaid the Bartle type on top of it, and where I thought the different gamer types fit into that model, and different stuff that in the game that's available to make that kind of clear. So by that point I was starting to develop a battle rhythm of what is it that I'm talking about, why does it matter, scope of the talk, discussion points, and then summarize. So yeah, by that time StratSide won. That's right. So that's what that was about. And then StratSide 3 came along. I knew I wanted to talk about Community Manager, and when Daybreak Games first posted Community Manager way back when, actually I think I'd done this Community Manager edition before Community Manager was a thing, before they posted it on LinkedIn and all that. But I had already created like a Reddit post and different stuff like that about what I would do as Community Manager if I had the job, and that I hadn't even been applying at that point. And that was really well received. Got a lot of votes on Reddit, and so did my subsequent post about what I would do if I were a designer, even though I didn't have any design experience. Like if I was a dev, what would I do? And I listed off that thing. That got even more votes than the Community Manager did. I think it broke 100 uptokes, and that was super interesting. So I decided that I would do a StratSide on it. That one was a really, really long one. I'm super passionate about community management. If you know my background, if you know what I used to do for PlanetSide and PlanetSide battles and Server Smash, and behind the scenes organizing things and creating venues with which stuff happens, really love that. Love doing that about PlanetSide 2 and organizing. And this game, just kind of the community really lends itself to that. There aren't many communities where you can just organize hundreds of players, and not even just the game, but like the community is very much willing to participate in that sort of environment. This is one of those environments. So I did a really long Community Manager edition, what I would do day one in the seat. It was meant to be more of like an actionable, anyone could copy and paste this. And I came up with, I had just sat down and thought about it and what would I do. And then I came up with this long list of things and what order I would do it and the priority and how I would handle it. And this is what I came up with. Community manager. First tapped into what the game was, and I pulled some stats from all over the internet and what that painted a picture of and what that sort of alluded itself to. And then I sat down and thought about, well, what sort of strategic hierarchy, some strategic approach to what I would do to establish categories of things, focus areas, call it, like creator kits and engaging the audience and forming volunteer teams, like all this stuff that is just, it's easy. It's just, oh my gosh, I can't, it hurts my heart. Just how low hanging fruit this is, and its immediate impact for the game. And then, you know, I rank ordered it into things that need to be focused on now, things that can wait a little bit, things that can wait a little bit longer than a little bit. And then I just kind of built on it from there. And each time, and then I also ranked it and put a complexity star chart. And it just went into detail after that. This is all still relevant. And one of my future StratSides, and that also is the same time about where Mithril beat me out of the job and he got community manager. So that's where I put out, hey bro, check this out, man. This can really help. I've been a player for a long time. I didn't make this in a vacuum. And but I haven't really seen much in the way of doing any of this. So yeah, and then that was StratSide 3. I will be doing a more simplified, streamlined version of this that maybe doesn't even break an hour, more than likely. So what's after that? So then after StratSide 3 came StratSide 4. So whereas Community Manager is my heart, Combined Arms is my soul. I love Combined Arms. It to me, it reflects the real life element of games, if there is such a thing. And to me, the real life of gaming always was player choice. The ability for the player to create facets of the game that the game itself is not able to create. So PlanetSide 2 to me is the game in which you can combine a shooter element that opens the door to every type of player interaction that could possibly happen. You know, from two enemies meeting each other in the field and just kind of like having a crouch off. Crouching up and down and random ceasefires that happen throughout the game, like that stuff that you wouldn't inherently think is part of the game, or that the game would want you or even reward you for doing, but happens anyways. So Combined Arms is one of the ways through which this game is affected in its MMO format. And whoa, am I talking? Just 1, 2? Yeah, I am. Okay. Cool. Studio is telling me that I'm muted, but I think something else is muted. In any case, StratSide 4, Combined Arms. And that is pretty much a spilling of the beans. I've been a Combined Arms player since beta, and employing the use of many platoons of people to do things, to take territory, to win fights. And the big fit, small fit, large fits, Zergfits, hardcore, sweaties, verse casuals, Zergers, that has been around since forever. I can't remember a time when that was never not a thing, even during the height of population for this game. But and back then it was kind of you didn't want to reveal your secrets if you didn't have to, because that's what helped you to keep winning over and over, is when you just can continually just ground pound. If I told you, no, I wouldn't, because I just turned on my sound on my phone, so I know I'm coming through. So yeah, I nerded out big time over this one, this Combined Arms, which was spilling the beans about how we would, you know, at the time we were, how many thousands of players were we? Many thousands of players worth of an outfit, how we continually dominated the map every time, not every time, but many times that we showed up as a group on Saturday, where we would just dump hundreds of people into a game and just start. We did a lot of work. But I dumped a lot of, I pulled a lot of data. I got data from Maelstrom for PS2 alerts. I got data from Barunda, and then they each said something different. They each looked at the same data in a different way, but they did have difference in data. Whereas Hanu's was every hex that was captured, and thanks. and for PS2 alerts, this was for every alert what was captured for the past 6 months. So they had different. They came from different places. They showed me different things, but the data ended up spelling out the same thing. You know, the Largefits were overly dominant when it came to top captures, whether it was an alert or not, which was super interesting. And then it flipped in terms of where was the? I think it was only on the stream, but it flipped to where the kills were mostly Smallfits and Midfits. So that was super interesting. I pulled a lot of data for that one, and then I also pulled a lot of stuff like screenshots of different things that enunciated different points. But I pretty much spilled the beans, and this right here was the crux of it, the application of those resources, which pulls from like real life military. It's just a lot of people in our outfit were previously military, so you know when people like Lex say things like the milsim outfits, that's kind of us. We did that. Not everybody was out military, but you know we operated on live in an organized, disciplined format, whereas you know out of that it was just all about fun and stuff like that. But it was just the application of resources, the usage of doctrine, where we combine that into capabilities of what we could do, and we set that against the goals of what we wanted to achieve, what the game would let us do, and then how that formulated our needs, where we would then deploy and commit our resources. So yeah, that took me, this one took me probably the longest to make. There was a lot to do, and every time I made a side, I'm like, there's one more thing I want to go over, okay, finally we're done. Yeah, I nerded out. I had a really good time making this one. I will also do a simplified version of this because I think it took 3 hours, so I'd rather it not take 3 hours, because that's tough to stomach unless you're really dedicated. So I'll do a truncated version of it, and if people want to do the long form, that'll still tell you way more than the simplified version will. So that was StratSide 4. Let's go to what was after that. StratSide 5 was Deeg interview. So up until that point, I was pretty committed to data and talking about strategic things and how the data supported or didn't support whatever it was I was talking about. Deeg was my first person interview on stream. I had done many interviews when I was writing gaming articles many years before. Like I interviewed Wrel, I interviewed I think it was Tav from Future Crew. I interviewed many different people and did like text-based interviews for when I was writing those gaming articles. This is the first one I did for PlanetSide. That was no, you didn't. This was the first one I did for PlanetSide, whereas before I had done some esports podcasting while I was a host for an esports show. So not the first time I'd done interviews, but the first time I did one for PlanetSide for a PlanetSide stream, and that was cool. I enjoyed talking with Deeg big time. He's like Cyrious calls him the PlanetSide 2 shaman. Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So that was that was good. The first dip into, you know, learning about another person on my terms, you could say, which then set me up for StratSide 6. Oh wait, what did we talk about for StratSide? I mean, we talked about so many things. It was mainly about Deeg, and I named it Thoughts of Tomorrow just kind of like as a cutesy title that was fun and interesting and that sort of thing. So we had Deeg in the Thoughts of Tomorrow. I think there was a movie, something about, and it's something of tomorrow with Angelina Jolie, I believe, like a pirate airship pirate thing. So we went a little bit into his Bartle, but we mainly talked about Deeg, where he's from and what he believes and that sort of stuff. So cool stuff going on there. StratSide 6, I went back to community management. I'm a big believer in community management for PlanetSide 2. There's so much you can do. There's so much you can do to help the community, help the game, help the devs. It's right there. It's right there. You just gotta get it. Just gotta grab it. There's so many people who want to help. So we reattacked it, and that was okay. That was the second time that I had applied, maybe even the third time, because by this point in time, it was, I don't even remember what month that was. It wasn't too long ago. At this point in time, I had applied maybe 3 or 4 times. They had posted it, I think 4. However many times they posted it, that's how many times I applied. But I think they posted it 4 times by that point. I can't remember how many, but we talked about it. There were things that I wanted to reattack on from my first community management one. But whereas the first talk was about the community manager role and what I would see that role being, this one was about the actual doing of community management. And what did it entail? What did it not entail? What was the vision that Daybreak appeared to have for it? And how the community could benefit from a general gathering of the people in a more official way. I did a lot more talking than I anticipated. I really meant for Cyrious to be for us to be very engaged with each other. But Cyrious just let me do my thing, and more power to him. I appreciated that, but I really wanted to be a conversation. I underestimated how much I wanted to say. I'm pretty passionate about it. I really believe in it. So that was good, where we talked about the community management in PlanetSide 2 and the doing of it. Cyrious has been around a really long time as well. Okay. That brings us to StratSide 6. 7. StratSide 7, which was Zealous. This was one that happened by accident. And by accident, I mean I wasn't even planning it, really. I had watched some of Zealous's video, which I hadn't really seen too much of him before, because he made a lot of like patch update videos and gun reviews, kind of like the way Kami did and sometimes Cyrious does. And I'm not really big into the reviews and the patch commentary. I just like playing the game and doing cool big things and surrounding it. But I'm not really concerned too much about balance. It's not my forte. I don't enjoy delving into it. But Zealous, I don't even remember how I got into it, but I saw Zealous's video about not wanting to join up for outfit wars, and if so, advocating that he didn't feel that he had to attend a match if he didn't want to. And that really piqued my interest. Not because I disagree with him, some part of me did, but ultimately I wanted to know more. That's really it. I wanted to know more about what it is that he was all about. So I invited him on the show. I think I had I don't even remember how I got in touch with him. I think I just made a comment on his video, and he's like, sure, yeah, I'll come on. Super easy guy to talk with, in terms of like, he was all about, yeah, man, whatever you want to do, let's just talk about it. Let's get to the meat of it as quickly as we can. And so what I decided to do was go through his content and pick out what I could that I wanted to talk to him about. And instead of just having him come on and just kind of like meander through the discussion, there was more that I had questions about that I wanted to talk about. And so we got through that, and I loved that talk. I loved talking with Zealous. I loved hearing what he had to say. Very different viewpoint from, say, Lex from Kamikaze. Kamikaze even responded to one of Zealous's videos. There was a lot of difference of opinion there, and I wanted to capture at least Zealous's portion of it. And so we talked about it and how he differed from in his viewpoint and what he believed, and we got there. I got a lot of different feedback from that one from this only reinforced what I know about Zealous, or to also I didn't really understand him to be like that, and that's pretty cool. So I got wide varying range from Zealous from that one, and I super enjoyed that conversation. So that sets me up for, well, I need to backtrack one thing, is I'll just come right out and say it. I enjoy conflict. I enjoy tension, and not enjoy it as in I want to like provoke it, but as in I like what tension brings out. I like it that it brings out truth. I like that it brings out that, like ironing, sharpening iron. It's to me, that's where the front edge, the tip of the spear is when it comes to the doing and the being in the community, where you encounter people who have differing viewpoints, who see things different than you, and then how this game forces you to participate together on live. Whether you like it or not, you are in that space with them, and at any point in time you can cross paths. And the game has its metrics. So you win, you lose, you get the point taken away from you, you capture it, you kill, you die. Like that absolute truth will commence when there's a gathering of enemies like that. So in some aspect, it doesn't even matter what your viewpoint is, except for how that viewpoint succeeds or fails on live. And to me, that's always been the most interesting thing about this whole shindig, is how these viewpoints turn into gameplay. So that's what I was after with Zealous, just to understand how his viewpoint turned into gameplay and what that meant. And I thought we got there. I didn't have to get to this point in order for me to feel like I succeeded or push him this far. It wasn't about that at all. It was just about understanding. Then we get to the next one, StratSide 8. StratSide 8. Lex. Lex is an extremely talented FPS player. I mean, just extremely talented gamer. Excels at clicking heads and accuracy, and has a very high standard, practices, tries to get better himself all the time. He's also vocal, and he streamed a lot. He still streams, but he streamed a lot for this game. And his vocalness and the intensity and all the colorful language he used, it wasn't infrequent that he insulted someone, to include the game devs. So I've known of Lex, and in many times I've steered clear of him, not intentionally. I just didn't really have anything that I wanted to be there for. Watching his content, I tune in every once a month, once every couple months for a few seconds. You know, he'd be talking about some shitter somewhere doing something with a shotgun. And I'd be like, all right, and then I'll click off. There didn't seem a whole lot to him. I guess you could say that. There wasn't anything interesting when I first saw him. It wasn't until, I don't know, sometime later that I started, I think it must have been one of his videos, his long form videos, maybe even about Cyrious, where I was drawn to some connected point. So it might have been Cyrious, it might have been something else, his commentary on it. And I listened to it because of that. And while I disagreed a lot with what Lex said, I understood him to be a much deeper, much more, what's the word? Much more, there was a lot more to him than I had given him credit for. And he would always say, and you know, I was in the military for many years. I still am. And in the military, you know, there's sometimes you have to put your feelings aside, put your ego aside. You get annihilated by a higher rank or by someone who knows more than you, like technical expert. You just got to put your feelings aside, listen and receive mode, and then take that and make it better or fix it or whatever the case may be. And Lex, to me, when I heard his thoughts in a little bit more long form, Lex to me came across as that type of person. Someone who knew what he was talking about, had taken the time to become an expert at his craft, and here he was saying really insulting things that I wish he wouldn't say, but a lot of truth, a lot of nuggets in there that you can take away from and walk away and say, I don't agree with the way you're saying it. Sometimes I don't even agree with what you say and how you come to that conclusion. But you got a lot of good points, man. You got a lot of good points. You bring into the forefront what a lot of the issues that exist in our community are. And that's when I decided I wanted to have him on the show. I wasn't even at first, when I first invited him on, I thought it might be an argument, and I was trying to hedge against it and say, look, man, I really don't want to argue. I really just want to talk, discuss. And he was all for it. And before that, I started visiting his stream a little bit more, listening to him. We had a run-in with each other on Shockter's stream when Shockter did what he did to me. And I started engaging Lex more after that, because it appeared to me that Lex had things to say. And as unfortunate as some of the phrasing was at the time, I felt that those are things that people needed to hear about the community. So I wanted to talk about it, especially since I was on the other side of the aisle. I'm a casual combined arms. Lex is more of a hardcore competitive and small tight-knit community type stuff. Didn't know he started out as the Enclave TE, so some kind of interesting common threads there. I was never a TR, but Devil Dogs, many thousands of players. TE used to be many thousands of players. So yeah, we had, to me, to date, is probably the best StratSide that I feel that I've had in terms of what I got out of it. Just because of how far apart I think that we were, and how close we were able to, even though we didn't agree. I don't feel like I convinced Lex. I wasn't trying to convince Lex. I feel that we ended up in some sort of understanding, and I really enjoyed how that unfolded. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. It was a great opportunity to see PlanetSide through the lens of someone who I could say at the very beginning I completely disagreed with on most things. but ended up having quite a few threads of commonality. And I kind of took the same approach that I did as with Zealous. Talked about some of the things I saw. I went into much greater depth for Lex because I knew I had to come with my A game. And well, there wasn't any sort of like, I wasn't going for any gotchas, nothing like that. It was all about what I need to come prepared so that we could have the best conversation possible. So I don't have to fall back on, well, I'm a casual player and you're hardcore and we're just never going to see eye to eye. No. Lex deserved far more than that, far more preparation than that. The conversation I had guessed could go really far if I came prepared. So that's what I did. I watched, I don't know how many hours, over 10 hours worth of stuff. Oh man, that took so long. But in the process also, I got to hear Baddie's thoughts and Leroy. I got to hear more Shockdoor's thoughts. And kind of his explanation to some things. And then Kami, I heard his perspective. But Kami and I had, we've known each other for a little while, so that one wasn't. I look forward to our talk too in the future, in the week or two. But ultimately, and Omni as well. I got to hear Omni's point of view. So that was the most, also is so far my most watched one. Watch StratSide. I loved it. To me, that was conflict without it turning into a fight. And that's okay. There can be tension. There was tension at various points. That was cool, man. I loved that talk. And we only got through, like, I don't know, half of what I wanted to get through. Not even, like, a third of what we wanted to get to. So then we stopped it, and we're going to be doing part 2 in the future. We did have part 2 scheduled for some weeks ago, but something came up, and we weren't able to come together for our scheduled time, so we had to postpone it. And Lex then, not long ago, announced his retirement from PlanetSide 2, which I think is a break. Maybe it's a retirement, but I think he just wants to take a step back and do something else. Totally fine, totally get it. So we postponed it until both of us can. Yeah, we postponed it until a future time. But I did get a pretty strong yes that we both want to do part 2. we both want to do part 2, and I'm looking forward to it. That I discovered, walked away from that discussion with Lex, that is the type of person that I wanted to be engaging with, and to talk, discuss. We differed greatly, and also Lex approached it he didn't approach it as a fight, and neither did I. We just approached it as a meeting of the minds. We were on different levels for different things, and we both, I think we both recognized that, except for him on vehicle play. Yeah, we'll get into that for part 2. I already warned him what I wanted to do, so yeah. That was StratSide 8 with Lex. And then StratSide 9 just had a couple days ago with Deez. Deez is one of the leaders for the Devil Dogs 666. I'm a Devil Dog, as I mentioned earlier. And we kind of talked about Outfit Wars that just concluded, where the Devil Dogs was a participant. I myself participated in Outfit Wars. It was good. Just kind of like Lex said, we got crushed by outfits who were, some of them who were just better shooters than us. In other cases, we did win, and in some was really, really close, just right down to the last minute or two, and it was fun. And now we're back and playing live like normal. And then. So StratSide 9 was kind of like an after-action report, a realistic look at Outfit Wars 2022, and also we started delving into outfit leading and Deez's perspective on that, and kind of how the ebb and flow goes of an outfit and its population right now. Whereas we used to have many thousands of players, now we have sub 1,000, sub 700 even, I think, now. So we have some work to do to build it back up, and just kind of the evolution of that. Good talk. I enjoyed it. Deez and I have known each other for many years, been in the same outfit for many years, so that was really interesting to delve into. Kind of more of a, Deez is a little bit more competitive than I am, but we're both casual. So yeah. And that's previous. That's what I hit so far. I'm pretty happy with the lineup. I'm struggling to push them out fast enough. The presentations are high content, high time investment, but I love doing them. I like doing it because of the way I can unfurl it, the way I can prepare it, and then kind of layer in the different discussion topics that I want to hit. It shows the math on what it is I'm trying to do, and that is important to me. I agree with Kami in many cases when it comes to speaking from authority, is establish your expertise, or establish why you're talking, and then talk about it and do all your stuff. I like data a lot. I think numbers tell a good story. They tell a story whether you want to hear it or not, and I like weaving that into big concepts, strategic things, and that's what StratSide is. Strategy, PlanetSide, StratSide. So even if we did veer from that when it comes to, like, you know, talking with Deeg and Cyrious and Zealous and Lex and Deez. Yeah. So then upcoming, what do I want to hit next? A lot of stuff. Lots of stuff I want to hit. I just can't push the PowerPoints out fast enough is really what it comes down to. My next talk is with Kami, and I think we locked that one in for this Sunday, right at the conclusion of Outfit Wars. We're going to go over a kind of like a post analysis of Outfit Wars 2022, some of the, you know, the tougher matches, and just talking about the overall way things go, how they went. Kami did a lot of casting for it. I watched a number of his streams. Deeg and Cyrious and PlanetSide battles and Varunda, and a lot of them did casting. Shock Tour did as well, and yeah, I did a lot of playing of Outfit Wars. So yeah, we're just gonna talk about it. There's definitely some things that happened there too. That I think a lot less drama happened this time around. There's a lot less PlanetSide that could happen in this iteration of Outfit Wars, primarily because of the taking away of the third player, contestant, faction. It was just 1v1. That changed the dynamic big time. You saw a lot more testing of metal without any sort of, I guess you could call it, subjective interference. Not really a dig at anything at all, but the 1v1 was a much more showcasing of talent, of shooting skills. So that was cool. I enjoyed the 1v1 aspect. I think it was the right way to go. 1v1v1, I mean, you get that on live. To me, that doesn't really capture the tournament style that is meant to be portrayed in this sort of thing. And I think there's room for both to exist. So yeah. So that's probably my next one up. The rest of these are not in order. Yeah, the rest of these are definitely not in order, because I don't anticipate part 2 of Lex to happen for some time, some months. But Flashyy and I, we want to do a StratSide together. Flashyy, if you don't know, is the one who created, bring it up here, the Echoes of Vanu. And when I saw the Echoes of Vanu, I said, oh my gosh, this dude is super talented. Dang, he's good at what he does. Animation and man, it was, to me, near professional grade when it comes to like machinima type stuff. So here it is. So I'll just have that, you know, kind of playing in the background. Oh, I think you can hear it. No, you can't, because I don't have the audio mix on. Yeah, so I'll just put that there. So yeah, Flashyy and I, we want to talk about. Actually, I'll just video development, because Flashyy is an expert at what he does, clearly, as you can see. So we want to talk about. I definitely want to talk to him about video development. What does it take to make it happen? When you see this, what does all this mean? How do you even get to this point? That's what I want to know. How do you get to this? This is cool. So, if you didn't know, when I saw this, I could tell that English was not the first language of the person who wrote this screenplay. And I've written novels before, like full-length novels, and I've also kind of written scripts as well, not full-fledged screenplays. So I reached out to Flashyy and I said, "Hey man, can I help with season 2? Can I help write it?" He was gung-ho about it, instantly like, "Yeah man, let's do it." And then I ended up writing season number 2. It ended up being 80 pages worth of scenes and dialogue. But we pared that down, Flashyy and I as a team, down to 40 pages, something that, and we did it because 80 pages was far too much for him to animate, and it was just gonna like suck the life out of him. So we got it down to like a good solid 40 pages. I think 43 in the end. And that was about what we thought we could get like another 20-minute video out of. So that's what that was. And we ended up creating some like real lore-based scripts. And I'm really happy for it. He just finished the trailer for it, and I saw the opening scene. It's rocking, man. It's so rad. It won't be too long before we start up season 3, I imagine. We've already started talking about it a little bit. So, I mean, as you can see, like this, you can tell when you watch this that a player made this. Someone who plays PlanetSide made this. For sure, not a, you know, someone unfamiliar with what all this is about. Like they're on Esamir, the player base constructed, the whole 9, that sort of thing. So that'll be a talk with Flashyy. And let's go to part 2 of Lex. We both confirmed that we want to do that, and we just got to settle on time and day. Community management. That's the one I'm going to showcase next. I'm pretty settled on. I want to hit community management again. This time it's going to be a little different. Instead of it being community management, the specific needs of PS2, that was my original of it. It's going to be community management simplified. That's what it's going to be. And then where's the other one? I don't even think I put it there. Combined arms simplified. So I'm going to do a simplified version of each. Should be pretty easy to knock out I think so. I think it'll be pretty easy to knock out. Oh my gosh, why is this? It does this to me every single time. There we go. And it was combined arms. Okay, so I'm going to knock those out. Shouldn't be difficult. It's really just a matter of what I want to take away, what I want to simplify and summarize versus going into 3 hours worth of conversation. So yeah, I'm going to hit that again. But the first one I want to hit is community management, man. Come on. Come on. Please. Community management is not difficult. It really isn't. It's just, I will lay it out for you as many times as you want, in as many ways as you want. If you play this game, you know what it is I'm talking about. It's just, it's obvious. It's obvious what we can do as players to make this better if we were enabled in official capacity by the game devs, by the team, by the PlanetSide 2 RPG team. If you open the door, like I've seen you do for PlanetSide battles, like I've seen you do for the different streamers and content creators, and once upon a time the pipeline that was for the studio, the player studio, like those have returning a high ROI, a high return on investment. And at this point, if the RPG is saying, hey, we just can't fund it, that's why these positions are disappearing without another community manager, then okay, I'll do it for free. Like, I'm offering to do it for free. Just give me the resources. What I mean is, like, I can sign a document. I've negotiated on behalf of PlanetSide 2 before with Andy's blessing for other organizations. Let me do this again. Let me help. I can form a team. I have a very detailed battle plan of how I can attack this problem and help bring people together, help fire at the community. I won't promise that I'm going to be like, we're going to double in size. That's unrealistic. What is realistic for me to say is there are very low intensity, low time intensive things that we can do to improve the motivation of the outfits and the players to want to continually play, to form alliances, to form connections. That way, we increase the social atmosphere. We lower the overall temperature. Because right now it's well, in some cases it's really, really hot temperature. In other cases, it's super cold, like bitterness. There are ways to make it a little bit more lukewarm, kind of narrow those extremes. It's not complex. It really isn't. If you play the game, you know. These things are not complex. Just give us the resources to make it happen. Give me the juice to make it stick. Give me or someone else. If you really dislike me and you don't want me to be doing this, fine. I'll step out of the way. Give someone the authority to do this. Please. I mean, you don't know what you're missing out on right now until you see it go down. The way I'm telling you, this is realistic and attainable. Give us the resources we need. Deputize somebody. Help them with the permissions. Put out a post. Like, I'll do that, and I'll go over that in the simplified version. I'll go over the whole thing, and I'll that's probably what it will be about. Simplified and how to make it happen. There we go. Look at that. Donezo. Next up, I'm gonna go Combined Arms Simplified. I love doing the Combined Arms long form. It's a tough one to swallow because of how many hours I devoted to it. I'm gonna simplify it. Make it sub 1 hour. If I can help it, make it sub 30 minutes. That will probably get a lot more views, which can then gateway into the larger form, the long form stuff if people want to. Then I'm gonna do an update to EG7. A lot has happened since StratSide 1. The vision has changed, the leadership has changed, the direction has changed, and if you're watching the quarterly releases that still happen all the time, the last one I think it was like a couple weeks ago, GHAM did another quarterly release where they went over the revenue, the expenses, the direction, the IP, and yeah, it's there for everyone to watch. I'm gonna wrap it up into a nice little StratSide and go over what's changed. This one is near and dear to me. Largefits, Midfits, and Smallfits. I lied. Elitefits and Zergfits are more near and dear to me, but I want to differentiate another StratSide from that to talk about the sizing differences that isn't as pronounced today, still exists though. So I wanted to talk about, the large fits, small fits, the mid fits, and how they all fit together. Then I wanted to go over MMOs and match-based games. I wrote an article on this many years ago when I was writing for like MMO games and Gamersphere, and I can't remember the rest of them. There were others. There is a difference between a massively multiplayer online game, which has like persistent gameplay, and then a match-based game, which has like segmented start-finishing matches. Like Fortnite is a match-based game. Warcraft is an MMO. And they have differing cultures, different expectations. I went over that in the Outfit Wars and the Bardo player types. With the... Where to go? That? Nope. Nope. This one? Here? Like where they were in relation to us. We are a very unique game where we combine multiple genres and play styles. Where we combine the MMO and the match-based. And then now that we have Outfit Wars, that's a match-based game. So how does that interplay with all of PlanetSide 2? That's what I wanted to go over. It might not be a very long one, but how the game mechanics exist within PlanetSide 2 that are both match-based and MMO, I wanted to hit on that one. Elitefits, Zergfits, that's near and dear to me. That's been a battle in the community since the community has been a community. The Elitefits calling the Zergfits Zergfits, and the Zergfits calling the Elitefits. And once upon a time, I contributed to that atmosphere. I made it worse until I started service matches and I started interfacing with the future crews, with the recursions, with the... I mean, there's a lot of really talented players and outfits that get together. They're smaller in number, and where the Zergfit person might call an Elitefit like a sweaty tryhard, an Elitefit might call a Zergfit like a shitter. I like bridging those gaps, even if we don't walk away having changed our minds or whatever. With Lex, I liked interfacing with him. People on two different sides of the aisle. There is a larger discussion at a much higher level that exists in that sphere, and I want to do a StratSide on it. I'm going to eventually do a 2023, probably even at this point, a 2024 edition. Yeah, let's go ahead and just change that up. Of what I would do as community manager day one. So I'm gonna refresh that, take a look at it from my Reddit post, and then do another StratSide on it. So it's pretty much an updated version of StratSide 3, whereas the game designer will be an updated version of the Reddit post. And that one will be, I don't know how I'm going to approach that one yet. I'm probably just going to end up making a lot of pictures and stuff like that, like I did for Combined Arms, because I am not a game developer. I don't have that area expertise. I just know what it is that I think could be cool to be in the game, and I'm ignorant of what it would take for that to happen. So that's my upcoming. That's what I have planned. Then I have what I want to do, potential, which will be slotted in here somewhere if I can make it happen. I want to get 3 people in here. I want to get 3 people in here who at various stages have something different that I want to discuss with them. None of them I want to be in argument with. I just want to talk with them. I want to get their perspective. I want to hear what they have to say. Baddie's one of them. Baddie and I have been talking a little bit, waiting to lock down a date with Baddie. He is a very talented, competitive. He plays a lot of Quake. Has played Quake for a long time. And I listened to his stream in preparation of Lex, and I was really impressed with Baddie. And I would like to have him on the show and just talk to him. Yeah, I liked the way he approached his commentary. It seemed really cool. Another one is NJ7 Picard. And I'm not laughing for any particular reason. I'm laughing because I watched the Tribunal with Cyrious and Shocktour and Picard, and I have a lot of different thoughts on it, and I don't really want to delve too deeply into it just because I think it'll take a while to unwind it, unpackage it. Suffice to say that I want to bring Picard on, and I want to just talk to him. I want to get his perspective. He leads R18, and I can't recall. I think that's a really large outfit. At the very least, it's a very active outfit, and he's been He's been a prominent member of the community. And even though I haven't really followed his content, I've definitely heard of Picard, and for through various random things in the community. He's popped up. So I'd like to get his thoughts, just like to talk with him. We exchanged a little bit of discussion on a Twitch stream not too long ago, and I lost the bubble. I've been trying to find him again to say hello and see if we can solidify a time. I don't really have an agenda, nothing I really want to pursue. It's just talk with him, see what he's interested in, and let's sit down and have a chat. Last but not least, the Tiger. Pale Tiger. Pale, I didn't really know Pale. I don't know Pale. I've heard of Pale. He was TR Connery for a very long time. Then he went TR Emerald, and now more recently, he is Pale Riders on VS Emerald. I wasn't really too up on Pale in terms of like following his content. I only really knew him through hearing him through Chuck Baller's stream. I'd watch Chuck Baller. That whenever he's on, I normally tune him in and try and up his viewership, and just kind of, and sometimes it's on mute, other times I'm just listening. And I think I mentioned this in my talk with Lex. Every time I listen to Chuck Baller, I heard Pale Tiger in the background talking to his people. And that's it. He's just talking, discussing. And it was random conversations about everything. About current events, about PlanetSide 2 things. Just, he was engaging almost every single time. He's sitting there talking with his people. And I can see now why the pigs had thousands of players. He's engaged, and I think I heard him on. I watched like some video of his a few days ago, just kind of to get a little bit more familiar with him. And he said that out of like the last 10 years or so, he's only missed about 100 days of playing PlanetSide 2, which is, if it's true, and I have no reason to believe it's not, that is extraordinary. For someone to sink that much time into this game. That's way more than me, and I think that shows in the numbers that he brings and in the dedicated community that he has. I watched his video the other day of him just removing pigs from TR Connery, just deleting people. But the most interesting thing I saw out of that whole thing, I don't really know the whole specifics about it. I think there was somebody who did something, and Pale just thought he made the command decision to bug out of TR Connery and then go, VS Emerald. I'm sorry, bug out of TR Emerald, go to VS Emerald. What I saw that struck me was when he was talking in his outfit chat, he was saying things like, "Right, guys, we're bugging the F out. We're getting out." And his people were like, "Heck yeah, let's do it. Where are we going?" They were with him. And when he told everyone to start leaving the outfit, I sat there and watched, because I was super interested to see. I sat there and watched, just left the outfit, left the outfit, left the outfit, left the outfit, left the outfit. It was just 10 minutes of straight so-and-so left the outfit, so-and-so left the outfit, so boom, 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 boom. 10 minutes. These people were just leaving in droves to go join Pale Riders on VS Emerald. Like, that's commitment. That's what a community looks like. Say what you will about the guy. I really don't know what I want to say about him yet. I don't know him that well. I did watch the 1v1v1 with R18 and NJ7. By the way, them being there next to each other, not intentional. They're people who I want to talk to, regardless of their association or not with each other. But back to it. Pale Tiger, right? The community, I watched this community migrate in real time to another faction. Like that. I listened to that discussion. The Devil Dogs have been trying, and as you saw with StratSide 9 with Deez, the Devil Dogs have been attempting to figure out whether or not we want to go to Emerald or not. We even split over it. Part of our outfit split is now on NC Connery, because the rest of us are still in NC Connery. Part of our outfit split to NC Emerald. So yeah, I mean, we are still a year later trying to figure out whether we want to go. Pale Tiger is just like, yep, right guys, we're out. And they did. There's a conversation I want to have there. I don't have to get into the details of the drama and the politics. You know, it's up to him how far he wants to go into that. I'm not gonna push it unless he wants me to. I just want to have a conversation with the guy. I also heard that he is over 50 years old. If I can confirm that with him, that is awesome. The dude's been playing for over 10 years, and you're telling me he's over 50 years old? Like, we have some older people in Devil Dogs. I don't think we have anyone over 60 though. I don't know. I don't think I've ever really asked. I just think that's a super interesting conversation that I could have with him. And I reached out to Chuck about like an hour ago when I saw him on a stream. I said, "Hey man, can you how do you want me? How can I do this? How can I don't know Pale, and I get the feeling when I watched his video on if you leave Pale Tigers, don't come back. I get the feeling that it's kind of like a who you know and make sure you're a known entity first. So I'm just gonna try it that way and see if Chuck can reach out to Pale and see if he's interested in coming on the show. I know he was interested in coming on someone else's show. I don't remember who it was, Cyrious or Kami or something like that. But I'm interested to have him on. We can talk about whatever he wants. Or if he wants me to decide, I can pick a topic. I think that'd be an interesting conversation. And yeah, I do realize what I'm asking for. So whether it goes good or bad, I want to have it. I want to do it. And that's what's coming up. Potential. There's some other things like that I would want to do. Like I'd like to have Wrel on. I'd like to have other people of the community on. I'd like to have Mithril on. I've reached out to Mithril before in many cases. I'll go over this probably in a different community management video, but we couldn't. It didn't happen. Couldn't make it happen. So, yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up with your boy. Previous, upcoming, potential. I like this. This is good. Where I feel like I'm prepared when I can come at it with some sort of like nerd PowerPoint presentations and, you know, talking about different psychology things and drawing stats from PSU or FISU and PS2 alerts. So my next one is going to be Community Manager Simplified. That one right there. Oh, wait, you can't see it. But in any case, Community Manager Simplified. That's going to be my next one. And I'll do what I did for StratSide, I think 6 or 3, whatever it was, where I'm going to stream its making of it. And that helped me out give the talk in a much less longer format. I knew what I wanted to say a little bit more as I was constructing the slides, and I just streamed it. And that was cool. I liked that a lot. So I'm going to do it again. And yeah, I think that's what I wanted to go over today about this slide here. I've done a lot so far, in multiple hours, and also I'm currently in the midst of dropping a lot of tank videos, like vehicle stuff. I've been a main battle tank player mains forever. I mean, I think I spent like 10 days worth in a Vanguard, so a lot of time spent in a Vanguard. And I just recently found the power of shadow play or whatever it's called, the NVIDIA thing where you can make a video out of it. And I just been overlaying that with my new beacon mic. I love this thing. It's awesome. So I've been talking, I've just been videoing my thoughts as I talk, and I'm on 17 now. I think I just released my 17th one this morning, I believe. So I have a number more videos to go. So I think right now I'm up to 24. Yeah, pretty sure I'm up to 24. Let's bring that up real fast. Yeah. So yeah, I'm on 17 right now. And my last one was the Larian with the Chimera. Oh, I'm not in here. It's weird. I think I need to toggle it or something. But yeah, and then I also tested out the JGX. There'll be more of those because I had to sight it in after I figured out that I was just missing like a boss, and the arc was just really, really pronounced. So I have a part 3 of the JGX 12 on the Vanguard, but I also figured out the power of the JGX 11 on the Lightning, which I don't really do the Lightning that much. The only thing I really do is a Skyguard every once in a while. But the JGX 11 on the Lightning is really cool. I like it a lot. The trade-off is not that bad in terms of damage potential, but being able to pull it anywhere all the time, that's pretty powerful. So I just finished sighting it in VR room last night, and I started applying it today on live and making much more accurate shots beyond line of sight. Because to me, that's where I want to play. Vanguard, I like playing aggressively. Like I had to do part 2 of the aggressive one here shortly. I might end up doing part 2 aggressive with the JGX 12 just because of how aggressive you can get with that tank and survive battles that you wouldn't be able to survive with the heat or even AP, really, in my opinion. So I might do part 2 aggression on the Vanguard with the JGX. We'll see. But definitely figured out how to do beyond line of sight, which means like behind a mountain, behind a hill, something where I can't see my target. I figured out how to use the recursion reticle that some people have put in my chats and Reddit posts, that I can now beyond line of sight somebody fairly accurately. I've pretty much got it down now. So we're just going to try it on live, see how it works, and see if I can't, destroy people when they don't even see me. Like that would be really cool. So yeah, this was my latest one, number 17. Number 18 should come out tomorrow. I can't recall what it's about. I think, it's part 2, I'm pretty sure, of the Chimera, testing it out in more battles, whereas here was just like seeing its potential, finding some moving targets to hit. Yeah, so I've been tanking for a long time, and I feel, like I can just kind of talk about it, and yeah. And that's that. My first one. This whole series started when Lex, I believe he had challenged me to do like a stream of consciousness, or he had said something that made me think like I need to do a stream of consciousness for my vehicle play, like he does for his infantry play. And I did, and it was really cool. It was my first one was in Hassan, where I talked about all the things that I was thinking about as I was playing in my Vanguard. And I used the R-Heat cannon because it's the rewards cannon. It just looks awesome. And so I was just talking about the things that I do when I'm a Vanguard player and just kind of streaming the inner thought. And that was my first one. But then that just kind of spawned like this whole thing of vehicle play after that. And I'm up to now 17. So that's what's been happening on my end. There'll be more coming out, and I feel motivated right now to get it out, so I anticipate that I'll continually push stuff out, and that's that. So appreciate everyone coming out. I always forget to raid. I need to remember to do that more. So I'm going to go ahead and raid somebody in PlanetSide 2. Who's on right now? Apollo, Royal Green, Wiggy, Jan Lexi, Metal, Swift, Zan, Puro, Boyle, Blade? That's a cool way to spell that. Blade, BR. Sinister Smith. I'm tempted to do Sinister Smith. I like the way that alliteration works. Blade spells his name really cool. I think that's awesome. Practice makes perfect. Emerald VS. Just a cluster of atoms. Deep in a chasm. Okay. Let's do. Oh, he's from Brazil. Cool, cool. All right, let's try Sinister Smith. I'm gonna rate him. Anyway, Sinister Smith. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and rate him. But thanks everybody. Hope you have a good day. Ready to raid in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Right now. Just finished my stream. There we go. Looks like it's a silent stream. All right. Peace.